What is going on, everyone? RileyGotGrails here. In this video, I will be evaluating our winter holds that I discussed in November, as well as kind of making my predictions for what shoes I think will perform going into the new year, as well as kind of the trends that I think we're going to see. So it is currently February 6th at the time of this recording. With that being said, I think it's a perfect time to kind of go over our holds just because they were really only for the winter time and the winter seasons. And now we're kind of in a slower part of the year where we're not going to see as many sales, not as many things kind of go up. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So while I was looking over all the holds that I kind of discussed, as well as my projections, I noticed that a lot of them were pretty similar. So I'm really only going to be covering the ones that I think were more prominent, or the ones that I kind of pushed the most. For instance, a lot of the dunks I kind of said all have similar color blocking, and that was my reasoning behind why I thought they would perform. So a lot of my predictions were kind of based on the same analysis, so I don't want to waste too much time discussing every single shoe individually. Rather, I'm just going to kind of go over the main ones that I made. So the first shoe I will be discussing is a St. John Dunk. I really like those. I thought those were going to perform really well. They actually really only went up about $15 to $20, so it wasn't as much as I was anticipating. However, they were a really cheap buy-in, and I would say if you're able to get in bulk, you're still looking about a 20% return. Overall, they were a really great mover. They moved on consignment well, locally well, so for that reason, I would consider them a success. Similarly, the medium olives and the polar ices, or the polar blues, I'm not exactly sure what they're called, those were kind of in the same category. I like those just because you could get them for retail or less, and they still only went up about 10 or 15, but the fact that they moved so well just made them very profitable. Now, I do want to note that all dunks have been moving really well, and you can find a lot for under retail, which makes it very easy to kind of find an arbitrage between like local markets as well as online ones. So I would say that for that reason, they're really good. And like I said in my prediction video, this year, or not only this year, but in general, you should be trying to go for volume now. I've definitely shifted my strategy when it comes to investing. I was very heavy on consignment and holds, but we're kind of looking at a new space now, and those strategies really don't work as well and aren't as profitable. Now, another dunk I wanted to cover was the triple pinks, obviously the unbrickables. These performed great. I made about $60 to $70 profit on each pair. I know some people that are making upwards of $80 profit. Overall, you should have seen at minimum $40 or $50, and for such a low buy-in at the time, I think that this is probably one of the best holds we had. Similarly, the frozen moments, I don't think that there's actually really anyone else calling an investment on these and predicting them to go up outside of myself that I saw. I might be wrong, so don't quote me, but I was saying buy in at $270, $280, even lower if you could. And a lot of the sizes are at over $330. They performed phenomenally, and I really think they'll continue to go up. Now, as far as going up, I wouldn't say hold. I think that this is really the peak for right now. So if you can move them, they move really well pretty much everywhere. But I think this was another really great hold. And then, of course, the last hold I wanted to cover for the winter time that I discussed were slides. The Yeezy slides were only $90 to $100. You can get them for really cheap, especially in bulk, and we see most of those sizes now, or most of the slides in the bigger sizes, like the Onyx ones. Those obviously did really great, but mainly the slate grays and the slate marines, those, and I think they're called the granite slides, those all performed really well. They moved super easy, and they were super cheap to buy in. So overall, I would consider a lot of the predictions I made a success. I think that the low buy-in prices, the movability, as well as the demand made them all really good. As far as buying, I think that one issue that I had last year was doing way too much consignment. So at the time, I didn't have enough capital to buy into more of these holds. I wish I did, because really, I think they all perform phenomenally, and I would consider our winter holds to be a success. So with that being said, I think that kind of going into the new year, we should be looking for quick flips and shoes that move really well. So for instance, the Laser Fuchsia Dunks, they came out about mid-December. I'm not sure if I discussed them in a video, but I bought quite a few pairs of those, mainly because the Active Fuchsias, I was able to make about $50 a pair plus on those, and these are very, very similar. Granted, it's different times, and the laser fuchsias are pretty much bricks. I would say they're a super good local mover. There's been a lot of ways you could get them for under retail, so you're really arbitraging the markets, and there's a lot of money to be made on these. Similarly, a lot of the other dunks have been kind of doing the same thing. You can find them under retail, you're guaranteed money. And the things with these is you don't necessarily have to hold them. Like I said, I think holding isn't a strategy anymore unless you have a lot of capital. But moving them really anywhere, especially locally, is just very easy and simple on these pairs. And there are also a lot of bulk buyers that are looking for these pairs. So if you can get a buy-in low enough, remember, just move in volume. If you can buy 5-10 pairs and then sell them for 10 or 15 a piece, that's $50+ more than you had when you bought them. So just remember that, and just remember to be consistent and try and move in volume. So right now we are in a buy season, meaning I think we'll see a lot of lows on shoes coming up that wouldn't necessarily be as low as they are going to be, in my opinion. For instance, dunks still, especially grade school dunks, a lot of them are still really cheap. The St. John's I still think are pretty good. The Cacaos. The UNC dunks are the first prediction I'm going to make in this video. I think that they're just obviously a great colorway. You can't go wrong with them. I will say buying grade school dunks at $110 with the colorway that clean when they were a $200-300 plus shoe is a no-brainer. We will see returns on this shoe, definitely, especially during the summertime, if not sooner. Now, as far as some other shoes that I've seen, the Bread 4s are coming out soon. I don't think those are going to be a good hold. Maybe I'm wrong. Today was a shock drop and the market actually went up. But from what I understand, there's a lot of pairs on the market. I also think it's going to come down to the quality of the shoe as well. A lot of these leather shoes have been made out of really crap leather. The Bread 4s look like they're actually quality, and if they're a quality shoe and there is a demand, which I'm sure there will be, I think that in the future these will be a great shoe. I would just say though, if you hit any pairs, try and sell them, try and skim the market, kind of get as much as you can, and I wouldn't recommend holding them right now. I wouldn't really recommend holding anything, mainly outside of the UNC dunks and maybe a couple pairs that you can get for under market. Now, I want to cover consignment real quick going into New Year. I know I keep saying going into New Year when it's really not, because we've been in 2024 for a month, but that's besides the point. But I think consignment, I've personally had it's been really slow. Even over the holidays, it was probably the worst I've ever seen it. To be honest, I don't really know where people are getting these numbers out of, posting on their story like, oh, consignment's going crazy. It's really not. I think it's because they have so many shoes on there. I personally thought I had a lot of shoes on there, but my sales have been horrible. I would say don't really do consignment. You're tying up money that you're probably not going to get for a really long time, realistically. I've been trying to price drop, just clear my inventory, and I still can't really get sales. There's been a very few stores that have been performing for me. I will say, however, the best consignment shoes for the past few years are definitely not the best anymore. It's really about just the cheap SKUs, surprisingly, that have been moving. Anything like OG Jordan 1, Retro Jordan 1s, Retro 4s, Retro 11s, they're not really moving at all. I've had pairs sitting on there for 200-300 days that would move probably in 2-3 weeks years ago. Not even like in 2021, 2022, even 2023. So I just think it's kind of outrageous now. But as far as buying goes, like I said, it's we're going into a buy season. Things are going to be lower. Try and just look for bulk SKUs, mainly UNC grade school dunks or any shoe that you think might be undervalued. If you have any questions on any shoes that you're interested in investing into or buying to flip, just let me know and I'll respond to you guys. But as far as all my investments and evaluation goes, that's about all I have for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.